head right.
That's right, baby. It is time for a toe-stepping dose. From TZL Prescripted. Yeah, I got one of them unpopular prescriptions that I'm getting. So let me get my sip and make sure that y'all get your cup so you can have your cup of head right too, man, so we can toast to head rightedness, right? All right, y'all, thank you guys so much for coming to hang with me in TZL Prescripted. A word that's been kind of, starting to get lauded a little bit more out there, particularly as far as Texas is concerned, and as far as Republican voters are concerned, is secession. Let's talk about it. Okay. Like I said, I've already prefaced this by saying that I'm probably going to be like I'm going to lose friends. I don't say, Joe, are you trying to lose friends? No, man, I'm not trying to lose friends, man. But I gotta call it like I see it. And this is what I'm seeing. Before y'all go running off, I'm going to have to say this again. Republican voters, are you not aware of the big weapon that the Democrats use to do so much damage in the culture, particularly against you, but they use these things to do the damage that they do in the culture? And the big tool that they have that still works for them, and unfortunately that Republicans help them use, is the race baiting tool. The racial narrative is the big tool that Democrats are able to use over and over and over again, and they're able to lead, manipulate, and herd Republicans into helping them do it every flipping time. And I've been warning Republicans about this for years. Like, why do you keep allowing them to manipulate you and gaslight you into doing exactly what it is that they want? Okay? That includes secession. Let me tell you why. The last time we had this big secession during the Civil War, this war of secession, who do you think did that? That was Democrats. Okay? So Republicans, over and over, people already know. You got a whole bunch of Democrats who already know the history of the Democrat Party with slavery, segregation, the Jim Crow laws. They already know all that. Their response to that is to say that the parties have switched sides. And that's the Republicans now who were the racist Democrats back then. This is why they're able to do what they do. And over again, Republicans allow themselves to be led into letting people think that, including proposing secession. You're doing it again. You are leading people to believe that you were those Democrats. You understand what I'm saying? Why do you keep letting the Democrats use you to make you out to be the evils that they did? Why do you do that? And what are you going to do when you do secede? And I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you for wanting to get away from how messed up this country is. But you got to understand that you're part of why it happened. When you keep empowering the Democrats to make people perceive you a certain way as the culprits of what it was that they did, you are the ones who give them the engine to keep doing what it is that they're doing. Why do you want to, y'all, you do understand that the Democrats have always had the objective to dissolve the union. Why are you going to help them do that? Why would you do that? Why would you rather deal with the complication of seceding from the union as opposed to just fighting them head on American turf? Why would you want to deal with that complication? What are you going to do? Once you get the secession, what are you going to do? You already got America that's in China's back pocket. You have the Bidens paid off by Russia. You're not just going to be up against the United States of America. You're going to be up against China, and you're going to be up against Russia too. What are you going to do? You think that the Democrats are just going to let me explain something to you, to folks who think that the war was about Northern aggression and you want to blame Lincoln for that. Y'all seem to forget that the North had Democrats too. And y'all seem to forget how Democrats are. You think that the Democrats are just going to let you enjoy your sources and your so-called sovereignty? Have you not forgotten who the Democrats are who want to be inclusive and included in what everything else that is successful? Those same Democrats that get into anything else and feel like they have to be represented in everything else are going to be wanting to get up in your business too. That is the way Democrats are at now, and that's the way that they were back then. When you try to say that the war wasn't about slavery, yes, it was. The Democrats in the North wanted slavery to continue. They did not want the South to secede because they didn't want the South to keep all them good slavery benefits to themselves. And if Northern Democrats felt entitled to it, and you want to blame Lincoln, this is what Lincoln relied on about the Democrat Party that were his contemporaries. Because the Democrats are like this: if we can't have none, ain't nobody can have none. And you can see that the Democrats are willing to burn down and destroy things if they can't have what they want. And you want to give them the power to do that right now? You keep saying, and come and take it. Well, they've taken it from you. And now your answer is to secede. Your answer is to behave just like them. And when we do secede, what Constitution are we going to follow? That Constitution that you claim to love so much, are you going to abandon that, or are we going to retain that Constitution? Because it's going to sound like the Constitution is going to need a rewrite, what the Democrats have always said that they wanted. So you're going to give them that too? Are we going to forego the Declaration of Independence, these documents that we hold so sacred? Are we going to give those things up? And we have our currency. Who are you going to emblazon on the currency? Sort of money we going to have? Who you going to put on there? General Lee? Who you going to put on there? Jefferson Davis? The idols and champions of the first secession? You going to put them on there? Democrats, by the way. Is that what we going to do? So I'm just wondering, you know, this thing that's happening in America. You don't think that's going to stop just because a secession happens with all the Democrats that we got here in Texas? What you going to do about them? They're already infiltrating the culture. They in the colleges that you send your kids to. You paying for that. You listen to the radio. The liberalism is just taking over. No matter what part of Texas you in. Oh, no, well, that's just Austin. They're really, no. They're playing all over the place. And that influence is already in your colleges. On the radio, they talking about how you don't need God, giving over to LGBT, promoting their socialist ideology. They're already in the radios, baby. Texas is already on their way. And see, this is the thing that y'all need to understand, Texas. Texas isn't becoming a Democrat state. Texas is going back to what it was. Texas was a Democrat state far longer than it was a Republican state. Y'all helping it happen. You think that it's just happening by itself? No. I keep telling you, y'all have promoted over and over again. You have promoted the Democrats' cause, thinking that you're being conservative. No, you're not. You have promoted the Democrats' cause. You've been manipulated by them. Brainwashed as much as anybody else. Anybody else. You think they've only gotten to the blacks or the Mexicans or the women or the Jews? No, they got you too. When you're out there waving around their flag, yes, they got you too. You have promoted their cause. And now you're going to take it a step further and promote secession, continuing to promote the Democrat cause as you help to dissolve the union. What else are you going to do? What you going to get? Are you going to join up with some other states to secede with you? What you going to form? The Neo-Confederacy? Carrying out the Democrats' cause? That's all you're doing. I mean, really, are you thinking this thing that these are why the Democrats are able to do the damage that they do? And once it's, and let's say you succeed and you pull it off, what are the contingencies there? Who are you going to be up against there? Right? And once again, y'all, I sympathize. I get it. I'm fed up with how much liberalism has taken over. But it's the thing that surprises me, though, is how much we underestimate. We see them as these weak-minded, weak people, a weak worldview, a weak plan for anything. But you can't take the country back from them? That doesn't make any sense to me. And we want to deal with the complication of seceding from the Union? and in effect helping the Democrats do what they've always wanted to do in the first place. You see, the Democrats, you might have noticed that they hate America. They hate this place. They've always hated it. And there's a reason why. The reason why the Democrats hate America is because they do not like a fixed set of laws that they feel like they're not entitled to have the power to change. Those fixed set of laws being ordained by God himself that we codified in the Constitution. Democrats hate this. The word Democrat itself basically meaning what's popular, the populace. They want to be able to rule by what they feel is popular. And one thing that's very popular, y'all, is selfishness. And they make laws according to their selfishness and self-righteousness and everything that is antithetical to what is ordained by God and what is antithetical to our Constitution. The Constitution calls these people rebellious. That's the Democrats. Everything about them is at odds with our Constitution. And they went to war against our Constitution with the Confederacy. And they made their own Constitution. Remember? That's what they did. Now y'all looking to do the same thing. You want us to secede from the Union. Why would you want to do that? You know? So these Democrats have always hated this country, always, because they can't stand it that the rights of man are God-given and they're certain and inalienable. They want to have the power to be able to have a vote, to be able to rule against whatever it is they feel entitled to intrude on another person's rights. That's what Democrats want to be able to do. They can't stand it that this is a republic. They want it to be a democracy. So they want to dissolve what this is. All right. And you're agents for them, helping to make that happen. You really want to do that? Why? It's like when people, like for me, do I still vote Republican? Yes. Do I consider myself a Republican? Yes. Yes, I do. Because I don't want to give the Democrats the satisfaction. It ain't going to help anybody. It's not going to punish. If I'm like, I'm just going to stop being a Republican because I'm sick of the Republican Party, all that sort of stuff. That's not going to punish Republicans. That's going to reward Democrats. Democrats never wanted my behind in the Republican Party anyway. So why would I give them the satisfaction? Who's it going to help? It ain't going to help nobody. So how am I going to be able to sit there and talk about, I'm going to take my country back. I'm going to take my country. I can't even take the party back. Right? And so if I can't take the Republican, well, I'm just going to leave. Did that help anything? No. And if I can't take my country back, I'm just going to leave. Did that help anything? No. It's going to actually make things more vulnerable or worse in the things that we're going to open ourselves up to. Like I said, you want to be able to secede from the Union? You think that's going to stop Democrats from wanting to get all up in your business? No. Like I said, that same thing today, that's what was going on back then, that they want to blame Lincoln for. The Democrats ain't going to leave you alone. They're not going to leave you alone. And if it ain't going to be the Democrats, it's going to be Russia. If it ain't going to be Russia, it's going to be China. America's in their pocket now. Didn't have to be that way. But, we're a party that always says, we need to, they need to stand up and take some responsibility. Okay, well, take some. Understand what you have done to embolden the Democrats to do what they've done. These people are fools, and fools do not advance without help. Their worldview is foolish. They don't get there without help, and their most reliable source of help has been you. And you don't see it. And that's really sad. These people want to listen to these red meat mainstream commentators out there stoking your pride and your anger. It's not helping us. Not helping us at all. You've been informed. You're getting good information, yeah. But as in terms of what to do with it, no. Because you're blinded by pride and gaslit by both sides of the mainstream media. They're getting rich and famous. You're just getting frustrated. And this is what, and they're going to be fine where they are, and you're going to be the ones to pay. You are paying. It'd be nice, man, if more Republican voters and these conservatives, were as interested in what the Word of God says, the real news, than the fake news or the real news. Man, if you would look in the Bible, you would see how all this stuff happens. None of this stuff would be a surprise to you. Read the manual. But it's like people, they ain't got time for that, or they're too sophisticated for it. They want to get their sources is the news media, manipulating them. You know, the media manipulates you. The word of God is the only thing that's actually going to be honest with you every time. And it's going to tell you how this happens. What do you think? You think it's like you act like the Bible is just some old book of thou shalt not this and doesn't. No, it tells you exactly who these people are. And you don't know who they are. And that's why you're being led by them. You don't know who they are because you, for some reason, don't want to know who the Lord is, who tells you who they are. But you ain't got time for that. You know? No time for it. No interest. You got the interest to complain. You got the interest to lament about what's happening to your country. You got the interest for that. But not the interest to say, okay, and the patience to be able to just include it into your daily walk so you know, so you can actually be armed up and have your helmet and have your breastplate and have your belt and have your sword. But I see a lot of these people. They ain't got time for that. But like I said, they got time to complain. I guess they got time for secession, but they don't have time for. They got time for the Lord. The one, our high priest, you know, our Levite, the one who the very name Levite, it means to connect, and we're disconnected. To unite, to be together, and we're losing our state of unity because people don't want to know the actual unifier. They have more faith in the salvation of some politician to come save America. And they got more faith in their firearms. They got more faith in this and more faith in that, right? And maybe they'll give some lip service to God at the end of it. Yeah, God bless the USA. Yeah, play that song again, Lee. You know, so what you know, it doesn't really mean much. You know? So that's where we are. Basically setting ourselves up for our own exile. And it's sad. And I'm the bad guy, you know, for pointing this out. The bad guy. Because I'm like saying, you don't want to do that. What's snapping?
Question from the audience.
Ooh, I got an audience question.
It's one thing to defeat the Democrats politically, but what do we do about the Supreme Court?
Yeah. So even with the Supreme Court, one, as you mentioned, defeating the Democrats politically doesn't mean anything. We've already seen that. Doesn't mean anything to defeat the Democrats politically. You got to beat them culturally. And that's just an area that Republicans just totally ignore. You got a decision that's getting ready to come down, and people are bracing for it to be an overturn. And the Democrats are screaming bloody murder for this to happen. This shouldn't be happening in our culture. How come we haven't promoted in the culture the sanctity of life? We don't do that. You know? So with the Supreme Court, you know, it's like is probably being, you know, scared into voting a certain way, or they may, you know, hopefully they may hold the line. But like I said, you know, this going to cause some problems. You know, people say there may be a civil war. Like I said, we're already in one. It's already happened. And this could be an escalation of it. So, you know, they jump from a cold portion to a hot one. But, you know, when I talk about, you know, these cultural approaches, y'all, let me say it like this. I don't claim to be an expert in any of this stuff. I don't claim to be an expert in anything. You know, I'm just a guy who wants to play some rock and roll and make some entertainment. And according to, you know, as far as even the culture goes, I'm a drummer that's past his prime. But that's just that's what I do, man. My focus has been towards entertainment. And the thing about entertainment, y'all, is that it's one of those things that is dismissed as, I don't know, it's not important. But meanwhile, entertainment is what's been used to turn the culture into what it's turning into. it's been used as a powerful weapon to change people's perspective into something quite perverted. Entertainment's been used for that, to stoke people's imagination, to stoke sensationalism and things like that, to prey on people's fears, to promote fear, to promote prejudice. Entertainment's been used for that, you know? And it's an effective tool to do a lot of damage. But it doesn't seem like people want to use that tool to repair things. And that's really sad. It's like I thought, you know, national defense, isn't that what conservatives say that we need? A strong national defense? Well, entertainment plays a big role in that. It does. Right? You need a cultural defense, which conservatives don't really have. You got a lot of people out there helping conservatives that call themselves conservatives, helping to be presented in the culture as the villains. Now, I'm not saying that you are. I'm just saying that you're helping the Democrats make it look that way. And they run the institutions they run the industry of entertainment, the industry of messaging. They run it. So now for me, you know, just straight up, the thing I want to do is just, like I said, I want to make some music. I want to make visual media. It's the thing I want to do. But the difference is I want to use those things to promote sanity in the culture. I don't want to just use these resources to get out there and just make frivolous content and content that promotes these ideas that are, you know, that promote things that aren't beneficial, things that lead down, things that you know, lead to the culture's decline. I don't want to, but you got a lot of people out there. It's like, you know, they don't care as long as it's art, as long as it's visually stimulating, or if it's whether it's visually stimulating or if it's funny, I don't care. I'll do this. I'll say this. I don't care how vulgar it is or whichever. It's only jokes. You got a lot of these comedians out there who contribute to the decline of our culture and this disunity. And then they want to turn around and be cowards and act like, well, I'm just a comedian. You know, I'm just a comedian. Why? You shouldn't take what these people totally want to be taken seriously. And then when they get called out on it, they cower behind being a comedian after the damage that they do. Well, why don't we have a defense mechanism against that? Why don't we have a counter to that? Why do you wait for some politician to do it? Why not support? And that's what I'm saying. But see, you got a lot of conservatives out there who feel like they're really not being represented. Their representation isn't official unless it's in office, in that government that they don't trust so much. That doesn't make any sense. So why not support? See, I'm telling you guys, these are the things that I do, and I know it sounds like a solicitation. Hey, support me. You know, I'm trying to do some entertainment for you guys. In a way, it is. But the thing is, y'all, you get people out there being accused of being sellouts and stuff. And I could say assuredly, if it's one thing, it's not a sellout. I could have sold out a long time ago and gone into the entertainment business and be one of these, you know, flunkies out there helping mainstream media and these godless heathens out there produce content that helps to get out there and poison other people. But I've refrained from that. I haven't gotten into the unions. I'm not SAG or anything like that because I know that these people contribute money to the Democrat Party who are contributing to the decline of our republic. So I don't do that. I haven't gone that route. I haven't gone out seeking an agent or a manager because I don't want to. I'm just not what I want to do. I don't want to be, I don't want to have my image or my skills or talents used by these people. I don't want to be involved in wishy-washy kind of stuff. I try to stay away from that kind of thing. Stay away from that, a community of artists. So it's something that I've tried to stay away from and just try to do it, more of, I'm not trying to be like a lone wolf or anything like that according to it, but it's like, look, man, if this is the things that I am going to be subjecting myself to, I'd rather stay away from it. And hope that in the free market, people will see that, okay, this kind of stuff is valued, and they'll want to support. Say, look, man, I think you really mean what you say. I think that you really want to go scout out an army of artists who really are kingdom minded first and really want to do what the Lord says and do skillful, creative, innovative art, for his purposes. I really think that's what you want to do. And I give my dollar vote to you, but I actually sacrifice. I ain't looking to write it off. I'm going to sacrifice his money to help your organization promote truth in creative ways that other people can relate to. See, these Democrats, man, they don't relate to reason. The godless out there, they're not reasonable people. They don't relate to reason. Everything is imagination driven with this. That's what I'm trying to tell you. All the stuff that they're doing is imagination driven. You got to imagine the stuff. The stuff that they believe, that's all imaginary, right? But it has real consequences. It creates real problems. But that's what I'm saying. We want to connect with them on what they can understand. They understand imagination. And once you make that connection with them, then you convey the truth to them. That's what we're trying to do, and do it in really creative, stylized means without compromising the truth, without getting off of what the Word of God says, and without compromising the things that keep a stable society in our republic. Are we going to make it a perfect? No, heck no. No, but we don't have. But you want to be able to have some sort of industry out there that's not contributed to the KKK, which is the Democrats, or the cray cray. So I mean, I want to be able to use these things and have a utility to it. Not do it just, I just want to entertain and I want to be famous and I want to see, my name in lights and want attention. And no, I actually want to use these things for a purpose because I have seen the other side of what it does and the effectiveness of it. If it can be, if we can be halfway as constructive with this medium as Democrats have been destructive with it, I mean, we'd definitely be moving in the right direction. Okay, and that's what I want to do with this enterprise. Put it to work to help maintain the republic and promote sanity, promote truth in his service. That's what it's for. I wish it'd be so fantastic if you had people that were more zeroed in on that and why, rather than dealing with the complications of secession. That's your solution. That's the solution. Rather than just saying, you know what, man, well, why don't we just beat them where they are? Why don't we go to where they're doing the most damage? And the place that they're doing some of the most damage is that thing that you're watching me on right now. So, you want to try to have this exercise, the secession, which there's going to be a battle. And they run all the avenues of communication. You're going to be cut off. I'm just wondering, I shouldn't even have to wonder. Why are y'all contemplating? Why y'all want to go that route, man? It's, I'm trying to tell you, this is how Democrats have been able to do the damage that you do. Because they've manipulated a lot of y'all into doing the very same thing that they did. I won't stop that. All right, y'all. Anyway, I hope I didn't chase away all my friends. And I hope you guys will still find this work worth supporting and sharing. And make sure you drop a bucket, if you please. Drop a bucket in the bucket to help keep Bro Zo on the go. Stop by the stove, get some of these Zoloft mugs, get the shirts. We know we got them summer white shirts, so grab those. BronzeSerpentMedia.com, y'all. And blessings for tuning in, and we'll talk again soon.